Welcome to TranslatorsVillage webinar about buying translation. Thank you for joining. This introductory video will last about 20 minutes and we encourage you to get in touch with us if you have any questions about this presentation or about translation in general at the email address translations@translatorsvillage.com. Let's start with a summary of what we want to cover. Today, we are presenting a quick overview and some tips that might be useful for someone new to travelling with a business around the world. We have some very visual examples that will help you to understand what linguistic luggage you will have to bring with you for your international adventure and how to look for it. We will cover the following points, for example, why you're here and what you are looking for. We'll talk about that all linguists are not translators. And we will also discuss online translation software, as it is good, but perhaps it is not good for everything. Then we will go on to talk about who we are and the translation market more globally. To follow, we'll cover the following points, such as when we should pay for translation, top 5 requirements, and what to ask for when you need a quote. We will also talk about how to tell whether the translation is good quality and also look at the trends of the market. Our goal is to help you when setting up shop in a foreign country and adapting your products and marketing for local consumption. Products, unfortunately, don't speak for themselves, and not everyone in the world understands English. The adventure of going global presents the challenge of having to remove the language barriers. On the screen are some examples of failure to overcome this challenge, because not all linguists are translators. Translation is a very particular skill that excellent linguists can learn and develop. People who are truly bilingual from birth or learn another language through school, college or university must still train specifically to be able to translate and know all the pitfalls, techniques and skills of translation. Even those who teach languages are not necessarily good translators. You can find people everywhere who are able to provide the gist of a text, but how confident would you be that they had not left out any vital details or been truly faithful to the original? Understanding the general message is a long way from recreating the full meaning, tone, register, and intended impact of the original text. Online translation software is good enough. For getting the gist of a text, then yes, some free online translation programs are quite useful, but it will still be many years before they are good enough, especially the free ones, to have sufficient confidence in them to have the translation they provide published or used as the basis for any important decisions or actions. A literal translation is one in which the words of the source language are put into the target language using the words that seem to be the closest, without considering how the two languages are structured. Machines provide literal translations and you can see the results on the screen. There is little risk that the translations on these slides will entail risks that the seller might be responsible for, but this is not always the case. Machine translation helps, but it is not too reliable. To go one step further, you need to start thinking about having a budget for it. Let's start with a quick introduction on who we are, what we do, and what the translation market looks like. TranslatorsVillage is an online initiative developed in Leeds for the world. More than simply a translation service provider, we are an organisation that brings together more than 1,000 translation professionals over the 5 continents. A community, a tool, and an online marketplace that allows customers to compare candidates and prices with a common denominator. All jobs have the seal, the filter, accountability and guarantee of the company. The need for translation is growing, with companies and organisations expanding into foreign markets. And we want to help you, whatever your budget, to find the solutions available for your language requirements. We want to provide you with a tool to easily search for and book the broadest selection of translators from every corner of the world, but without losing that personal touch. We are good at our profession, and our collaborative model and our passion for languages are here for you.
Euskal Herrian negozioak euskaraz egiten ditugu. Zantzarik zanez, Galde iezadazu.
Hola, soy Selva. Para mí el respeto del mensaje original es esencial.
Ուրախ եմ ձեզ օգնել հաջողելու ձեր գործում իմ հայրեն թարգմանության 23-ամյա փորձում։
Our name combines the words translators and village, which stakes out what we are. Growing our business is a hard work, but the rewards and the sense of achievement by allowing everyone to become global is fantastic.
Thanks, Katie, for the introduction. Let's have a quick overview of the translation market figures. How big is the translation service market? Which are the most demanded languages? What are the trends in the industry? The increase in demand of professional translation services is high. Taking English as the source, the demand of frequently translated languages, such as French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish, remains particularly strong. Most widely used Asian languages, such as Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, also remain in high demand, and Arabic come in third position. Despite recession, demand in translation has grown. Multilingual online publishing has been the tool for many SMEs to enter previously untapped markets. Top 10 languages in the internet corresponded to the most spoken languages in the world, plus languages with great internet connection. On screen now is translation and gross domestic product. Gross domestic product market is slightly different from the language presence. German, Italy, and India are not in the previous top 10 list due to different reasons. Translations include written material, website, SEO, keyword trends, sales and marketing, subtitling, and voiceover. Imagine buying a new car and not being able to decipher the owner's manual because it's in a language you don't read. Remember the frustration of trying to register in a website that doesn't recognize your country postal code format. Think about the impact of making important healthcare decisions if you don't understand what your doctor says. It's only when translation, localization, or interpreting are in there that consumers recognize their true value. When to pay for translation? I would say that the rule is quite simple. Spend time, money, and or both, where you spend it in your own language. So look for a professional translator when you need accuracy. It's not offered by machine translation or translators to be in a consistent basis. Context and content-rich text without ambiguities can only be provided by professional human translators. Specialization when requiring a professional translator in a particular field. Confidentiality. With machine translation, your information is not protected since it's sitting on a shared server. The best way to choose translation option for your language project is to approach a language consultant to guide you. Where you need a combination of options, they can also advise you on the best mix depending on your budget. Getting the right language process in place ensures you to get the desired quality, reduce the cost of the translation projects, and help you to meet the deadlines of international product releases. Tips to make the right choice for your translation needs. If you spend more than you can afford, you will always blame the translation for poor output. You should have almost immediately an idea on how much it may cost. It's like going to a restaurant and not knowing how much it may cost. Of course, the budget may change depending on your appetite, but at least you know what to expect. Number 3 is a general rule. Price may differ significantly if time pressure is around. Check communication method when things don't go as expected. And also some translators or service providers have poor internet connection and don't have security procedures in place.
Getting things ready when asking for a quote. On the screen is an example that covers a quick to-do list of your homework before requesting a quote. This avoids having 20 emails in your inbox with questions instead of answers. The language combination varies in price and timeframes. Not all languages have the same availability, internet connection, or computer literate people. The volume. Simple word files are easy to count. Websites are another story, since there are a lot of repetitions in each screen, menus and buttons for example, that might require glossaries that help to maintain consistency across the page. Date. The less urgent a job, the better. Bear in mind that bank holidays differ from one country to the other. Chinese New Year, Ramadan, each country has its own traditional holidays. Quality in translation. What looks more difficult is actually really easy. KPIs for quality in translation are international and they speak for themselves. Easy-to-use templates that external evaluators with translation skill in the language combination requested can easily assess. This provides some peace of mind. A typical case when requesting a translation is to receive it back and having no idea about the target language and feeling a little insecure about the results, to ask your neighbour or a friend that spent a year in Spain about what he thinks about the translation. The response will be the same as the one he'll give you when you ask him about what he thinks to your new car. It is a personal, not a professional answer, unless of course he is a car dealer or a translator himself. But if you still feel there is something wrong, quality assurance for translation is common practice and can be requested. For example, the pharmaceutical industry is so worried about providing a poor translation that they request a back translation for all their translated texts. Translation, trends, and new challenges. Translation challenges and trends do not differ from the different industries. Cloud-based machine translation is like the Wikipedia model, where people improve data through volunteering, as they benefit from having access to the information in exchange for their services. The same happens with marketplaces, TranslatorsVillage being one of them. Different models are being put together all over the atomized market, helping potential users to have a better understanding of the challenges. New models are immediately adopted, so we have over-the-phone interpreting, social media translation packages, voiceover and subtitling growth due to the growth of YouTube and moving images in marketing. The advantage of the internet is that it's very easy to find out what your industry is doing and what the trends are. We have online classes through Skype as well as interpreters, and the New York Times talks about psychotherapy online. I wanted to close the presentation with this article because the New York Times writes about a challenging case. A Russian psychotherapist based in Madrid and writing about language challenges in the US newspaper. Welcome to the 21st century, where globalization is definitely present. Next is a short video of a language awareness flash mob that TranslatorsVillage organised and ran in 2014.
¿Puedes decir cómo llegar al mercado? Al mercado. Hola, ¿habla español? No. L'università di dove si trova? Come si arriva a Giauda.
Town hall dari. Town hall.
Town hall. Where was it? La Gare?
La gare, oui. No, it's over the road. La rue.
Faut traverser.
Oui.
Ok.
So, voilà. Traverser
Oui.
la rue. And then it's.
For me, most of the people just walked by and think they thought I was trying to sell something, but people that actually stopped were trying to help even though they didn't quite understand, but they were really trying to understand.
But I think it's interesting because you're in complete loss when you don't speak the language. They were sort of a bit like embarrassed and laughing and oh, we can't speak French, sorry. So, interesting experience.
I just become when flying my course and they decided to walk me to the library. So it was very interesting. They were extremely nice. I didn't use a word of English and they walked me all the way to the library.
Yeah, it was interesting. Some of them they just blanked out and walked right past me. They didn't want to talk to me because of my foreign language. Others they were trying to help me. But the main impression was like that I felt like a tourist.
It was quite funny because then they started walking away because they thought that I was messing with them, but then I tried and insist. I followed one of them and they said, no, excuse me, I really don't understand. So they tried to make an effort to explain it, but none of them spoke Italian.
It was a little scary. It was very hard, so I couldn't do more than two. But it was interesting experience.
Well, I only spoke to a few people, but they all understood French. I asked them something and they responded and knew what I was asking. One guy even made a real effort to speak French, like, à gauche, then à droite, then across the road. It was really funny.
It has been a great experience. We get to see how people react in other languages. There were people that were really willing. The event has been very successful. I guess at the first step we really make now that there are a lot of languages in Leeds.
Thank you for watching our guide to buying translation for beginners. We hope that you've enjoyed it and that it's been useful for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us at the email address on screen, translations@translatorsvillage.com. You can also follow us on social media via Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, and check out our blog too. We look forward to talking to you soon.